because we are only newbies to the industry. Like guys like Bruce or John Young or Rob Pulley, all these pioneers, they were growing mussels even before I was born. So for the next half an hour or so, we will talk about a little bit about how we got involved in the industry and why and how we're doing it, and also like to tell you a little bit about myself. But before I get started, I'd like to ask a question. I think at these conferences they often get asked, and I think it's always cool and open. I know it's my turn to ask it once. Is there any media? No media. That's a missed opportunity. Okay. Are there any lawyers? Any lawyers? Yeah? Okay, but if I mention lawyers, nothing personal. Okay? You've seen a few politicians. Are they still here? Have the politicians moved on? If they are still politicians here, when you do get mentioned, I actually mean the other politicians. Right, so we've only been in the mussel industry for the last 2 years, and for the last 22 years I've been involved in the New Zealand dairy industry. The New Zealand dairy industry is an amazing industry, and it does not get the credit that it deserves. The media loves to fuel quite a negative picture, and that shows to a misinformed public, I think, a quite creates quite a distorted view. And then often it gets used quite smartly by politicians, by the other politicians, and it creates more media opportunity, and it becomes quite a vicious circle. It's really hard to break that vicious cycle. And dairy farming has done this really well, and I really like dairy farming. But the negativity started to put us off, and we weren't feeling good about it. So Helen and I, Helen my wife, she's here somewhere too. Helen? Yeah. We decided, if you feel like that, it's time for change. So about 5 or 6 years ago, we decided, what if we take a year off and we go and travel around the world with our 4 children for a whole year. Actually, there's some of my children also in the audience there. Yeah. Oh, wait. I thought a lot of people would bring their children, but nobody really. I brought mum and dad along as well. Free lunch, you know. Anyway, we went for a trip around the world, and we had an amazing adventure, and it was well worth it. Highly recommend it. And when we came back, we decided we want to go and live in the Marlborough Sounds. And if we go and live there, we're also looking for business opportunity. And we took a liking to aquaculture. About 3 years ago, or probably exactly 3 years ago, I registered for the Aquaculture Conference in Nelson to learn more about mussels or salmon or oysters and see if that was something for us in the future. So from Southland, I drove all the way up to Nelson by myself, and I got there. I was a little bit nervous because, you know, it's not a big industry, and a lot of people seem to know each other, and I really felt a little bit like the odd one out. Now 3 years later, I realized that I'm definitely not the only one who's the odd one out, but that's why it's such a colourful crowd here today, I think. I love the conference, the presentations, the information sharing, the openness in information sharing too, and the willingness to collaborate with each other. It was really good. And during the breaks, in between the presentations, I was trying to talk to as many people as I could, and I all asked them the same question. I'd say, what would you do if you were to enter the aquaculture industry again? And it was really interesting. Some people, they just shrugged their shoulder or shook their head, just walked off. Some of you actually might remember that, because I do. But the majority of the people, they were really good, and they were really happy to share their knowledge and their passion and give me some really good heads up and some really good insight. So I thought it was amazing, like the energy and the positiveness. And I went home and I thought, yeah, I want to be part of this industry. But how? Because aquaculture it's so diverse, there's so much to it. And I thought a little bit further and I thought, how can I make the most money in aquaculture? And I thought, I need to get myself a law degree. I'm a little bit past my day of study, so I don't think that was going to happen. Salmon, everyone likes salmon, so we should be looking at salmon. And I think it was a bit ambitious. We did seriously look at bluff oysters, flat oysters, and thank goodness we never touched them, because as a startup business, the devastation of Banania would have been the end straight away. We chose mussels. And we ended up buying a small live mussel distribution business in Havelock, which was called Heery Mussel Company, and we've recently rebranded it to Mills Bay Mussels. We learned more about mussels, and I thought that mussels, compared to the other seafood, was a pretty safe bet. And that was until Alexandrium Pacificum became my neighbour in Iria Bay, where I live. Yesterday, when Lincoln McKinsey had these photos up, those aerial photos of the highest concentrations algae bloom in Iria Bay, I actually thought he was trying to take a photo of my mooring. Yeah. Mussel farming is a completely different kettle of fish to dairy farming. But surprisingly, there were a lot of transferable skills from the dairy farm, from the dairy industry, that we could use in the mussel business. So it's dealing with seasonal fluctuations, diseases, changing markets, regulation. It's farming, but it's just a different species. Our business vision on the farm is enjoying sustainable growth, and we've applied it to the mussel business as well. It's completely transferable. Our business values that we used to have, or that we have in the dairy industry, is also applicable with the mussels. It's a team effort. It's all about the people within our business. Make it happen, push the boundaries, and do what's right. These are the four main values that we use. And I'm not saying that we always get it right, but we constantly refer to these values and that explain what we do and how we go about it. Team effort, make it happen, push the boundaries, and do what's right. It's very important to us. On the dairy farm, the milk gets picked up every day. And every 20th of the month, you get paid. And it was something I really used to take for granted. But as a dairy farm, we're also a commodity producer and a price taker. So now with Mills Bay Mussels, we're operating in a small niche market, but it's a real cool opportunity to add value to our own products. We own a few mussel farms in partnership with the previous owner. Sanford, they look after our mussel farms and they do a fantastic job. And it gives us a lot of time to focus on sales and marketing. But why bother? Why bother buying a business like that and going into mussels? Something that you don't know anything about. Well, there's this guy called Simon Sinek. And he's got these amazing motivational talks. And he talks a lot about the why in your business. And I'd like to talk a little bit about it. Every business needs to have a clear why. And you're in business to make money, so that's a given. You've got to make money. But there's more than making money. What is your why? Why do you get up in the morning and go and do it all again? If you know your why, that flows into your how. And your how flows into actually what you do. So his model is from the inside out. So how do we use that? Well, apart from milking cows, what gets me up in the morning and do it all again? It's a hard question. So we thought about it, and then I think making people happy. If you get up in the morning, you can make people happy, that's really worth getting out of bed for. How does it work out? Well, making people happy. Okay, make people laugh. But it's not that hard to make people laugh. But you also want to get paid for it. And once you start charging, a lot of people don't think you're that funny anymore. That's not the line. How do you make people happy? And then we thought of a delicious food, of a delicious, healthy food. Guess what? We've got mussels. So we want to use mussels to make people happy. And I really like that model. And if you Google it on YouTube, I think it's got about 40 million views. And I was talking to Simon the other day and asked him if we could use this in the presentation. And he said, yeah, no worries, just make sure that you say it's my idea, not my idea. And I said, but also make sure that you tell them that when you're in business, a lot of people buy a product, not so much because of what you sell, but it's why you sell it. And I like to think about it. I think that is really good. And I'll challenge you for yourself, like it might all sound a bit cheesy, but I'll challenge you yourself, what is your why in your job? Why do you get up in the morning? What is your why in your business? Think about it. But not now, because we're still got a bit more to do. The industry, the mussel industry, is doing really, really amazing stuff, and I think, opening up new markets in Asia, for example, or really focusing on new pharmaceutical products. They probably got much better business models than we do, but we're happy to operate in a small niche market and show people how good mussels can be. Maegen, I hand over to you.
Hi, I'm Maegen. Dad, he really likes talking and sometimes I struggle to get a word in. But I like talking too, and I love mussels even more than he does. Dad started dragging me around to a whole heap of meetings around 2 years ago as I first started to get into the family business and the mussel industry. It was really exciting, and he introduced me to a whole heap of cool people in the industry, and I began to become intrigued with what was going on. I have a lot to learn, big time, it's only early days, but I started to explore different areas within the business, like the mussel farming, the processing, the finances, human resources, health and safety, food safety, and they're all really interesting, but what really excited me and ticked my boxes was the marketing side. So jumping on the back of what Dad was just saying, we want to celebrate mussels. As everybody here knows, mussels are an amazing product. They're healthy, they're sustainably grown, they're organic really, and they are delicious. And although everybody inside the industry knows this, there are a lot of people outside the industry who don't. Talking and listening to our customers, we have realized that there is a huge knowledge gap. This is our marketing opportunity and our chance to tell our story. Mussels are available in abundance and are therefore perceived as a cheap form of protein and a real commodity. And we think that lamb shanks and spare ribs were treated the same not that long ago. Now they're on almost every restaurant menu and have become a bestseller. And closer to home, crayfish and oysters. It used to be that the main export market for crayfish was just frozen tails, and for a really long time, oysters were seen as a poor man's food. So what happened for lamb shanks, spare ribs, crayfish, and oysters? Education, marketing, packaging, fashion, trends. So like I said, this is our marketing opportunity and our chance to tell people how good our mussels are and tell our story. We're a family-owned business. We live in the Marlborough Sounds. We tell people how good our mussels are, where you can buy them, how to cook them, and this all boosts our sales, but the proof is in the pudding. We can do anything we want to make our mussels sound good, but when people taste them, they have to be good. So we changed our tact, and we've started to work with chefs to get our name on the restaurant menus and work with them to showcase our mussels. So imagine you walk into a nice restaurant, smells good, nice lighting, and you pick up the menu and you look and you read New Zealand king salmon or Cloudy Bay clams, and then hairy mussels. No, the name was not going to cut it anymore. So the decision was made and we changed the name to Mills Bay Mussels. And all of this was in an effort to help us get into restaurants and onto the menus. But before I tell you how this is going, I thought I'd give you a bit of insight into the background of our name. So we named the business after a small bay down in the Kenepuru Sound, and it was one of the first places where they started mussel farming. And now, 50 years later, it still produces strongly. And to us, this really highlights the sustainability of mussel farming. The Mills Bay is also a beautiful little bay that represents the Marlborough Sounds as a whole. And on top of that, we thought it had a nice ring to it. Mills Bay Mussels. Always fresh, always good. So all of this was going to help us get our names on the restaurant menus. Well, easier said than done. Chefs are very busy people and they love to cook, but they don't want to be told by an 18-year-old how they should be cooking their mussels. So, a wise old man once told me that if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. And that is not what we want Mills Bay Mussels to be. Living in the Sounds, we are surrounded by people who have been around mussels their whole lives. There's no better place to find out what the best way is to eat mussels. So we asked around, and we kept hearing from the locals that the only way they want to eat a mussel is live shucked and then cooked just once. So a lot of you will know that this is a delicious way to eat mussels, but there are so many people who don't know this. So last year we opened up a small shop in the Havelock Marina, and all we do there is celebrate mussels. We have an open kitchen where we cook mussels in a whole bunch of different ways. We employ a really awesome chef, Becky, and she works wonders on the mussels. I also cook in the shop and I love experimenting with new ideas, but also talking to the customers and sharing my excitement with mussels for them. So sometimes when a customer comes in and tells us that we have revolutionised the mussel for them, we get a huge kick out of that, and that really ticks our why. Sometimes someone will come in and say to me, I don't really like mussels, and then I manage to convince them to try something, and they go outside and eat it and come back and say, whoa, I never knew a mussel could taste like that, or whoa, I never knew you could do that with mussels. And when this happens, I get such a good feeling, and that is why I love to be part of Mills Bay Mussels. So the shop is going to help, is already helping, and will help to build our brand and increase our sales. And it definitely fits into our business vision, which is enjoying sustainable growth. It's early days, but the feedback is very positive. We have lots more ideas and big plans, but are we on the right track? Next year, I'm going to university in Wellington to study marketing, and I hope to bring back lots more knowledge to Mills Bay Mussels. So again, we've received so much positive feedback from our customers, and also from the industry. We've had a lot of support. Aquaculture New Zealand and the MFA are extremely helpful and do a great job as industry advocates. For them, it's all about growing the pie, and we're really proud to be a part of that. So rounding that off, I'll hand it back over to you, Dad.
Well done, Maegen. So as you probably realise, we are very much newbies to the industry, but we're very, very proud to be part of it. We see great potential in the industry, And we're having a lot of fun exploring it, and I really hope that that will carry on, because that's important. Thank you for a chance to share our story with you. And I know that after there's been many talks, and you've been listening to us for half an hour, and you can't remember it all. There's probably only 1 or 2 minutes that you really remember from this speech. But please, when you think back about this speech, remember that Mills Bay Mussels, always fresh, always good. Tonight we will have a few different mussels that we're handing out at the cocktail party. As you walk out now, we've had a crack at some live shucked grilled mussels with garlic butter. I think it was a little bit of a logistic challenge to get it all in time there for you all to walk out and try to grab one. Thank you very much. I think I'll just get the heads up that they are ready. So as you walk out on both sides there, you could take a wee sample. And tonight we'll also do a small selection of raw shark mussels. And I think I see quite a bit of potential in that. So if you dare to have a go there, I don't think you'll be disappointed. So, thank you very much, and enjoy the day.
Thank you for